Hello everyone, welcome to Tangle with Tracy Anne. In this week's video I'm going a little bit loopy. Well, doing the loop tangle by Amelie Liao CZT. It can be a little bit tricky, so I'll take it nice and slow. These are the tools I'll be using this week. I will make a list of these below the video. To mark out my tile, I'm going to use the Markus Operandus. This can be downloaded from the Zentangle website, and I will provide a link below this video. I'm using a tan tile, and I'm just going to mark off, first of all, in quarters, and then in eighths, so that I have 8 equal sections, and you'll find that all the little lines with a circle on it. Now I'm joining these lines. If you're not good at drawing a nice straight line like this, just use a ruler. I find that if I keep my eye on the direction I'm going, it works out quite well. I've used a lid to draw a circle in the center. I've found the step out to this tangle on tanglepatterns.com. It starts with a square and only has 4 loops. I found it a bit tricky and I didn't quite like the overlapping of lines, so I've put my own spin on it. I'm going to start with the loop, so I'm drawing a seed shape in that space between the edge and that inner circle. I'm going to begin by joining these seeds a little bit like you would in the Tangle Way-Bop. So just following that curve and joining every second one. But I'm not going to go ahead and join any others. I'm going to start and do another line coming down from the seed until I get to that edge of that circle, and then forming this ribbon that's fairly uniform until I get to the other edge of the circle, and then that will gradually blend up into the seed. It's easy to get lost with this pattern, so I'm going to turn the tile and work on where I left off. So that last seed is where I'm going to draw another ribbon. Now I've started actually on the edge, but it's really important to join up the top line first. So as we join those 2 seeds, if we have a ribbon in the way, we're going to draw behind it. Now I can come back down and do the next line just as I did on the first one. Go across till I get to the circle, then blend it up into that seed. Turn your tile. Find the last seed that you worked on, and it will go across. So, whoops, I've started again. I should have started at the top. It won't matter for these first couple. So join that top line. Once we get a bit more complicated, it will matter. So I won't do that mistake again. So go across, draw that other ribbon, blend it up into the seed. Then again, turn your tile, working on that seed that we just finished off on. And now join that top line first. So you can see I'm drawing behind both ribbons here. It helps to put your pen in the air and just do it in the air first so you know where you're going. And now we'll do that bottom line. try and make the ribbons fairly even if you can. Don't panic if you don't. And now you can see I've formed a square in the center. So I'm going to turn the tile and work on the other square. So with those two seeds, join the top line. It's just the same as I've been doing all along, and then go back to the top and form that other line. It gets tricky, so it's good to follow this same plan of turning and working on the seeds as I'm working on them, because when they start to overlap in that center, it will matter which direction you take. So keep working on the seed that you last finished. So there again. It gets trickier as we get more ribbons. So just keep drawing in the air and take your time so you know which direction you're going in. Whoops. So yeah, be sure where you're going first, draw that top line, and then come back and draw the other edge of the ribbon. And you can see as that center is filling up, I've got less space. And this is the last one. So be sure where I'm going. Do that top line first. Yours may look a little bit different to mine, but don't panic. It just depends how thick you're doing your ribbons. So long as you stop when you get to a line and draw behind. And if you're going in the right direction, it won't matter. So now we've got one loop of ribbon. Well, it loops around 8 times. So we can start anywhere now to do our second loop. So as we go down, I've filled in that space now. You might not on yours, and go across. So you can see that center's pretty full. And then don't get lost. Go back to the loop that you were last working on. Take it down. Now that center's pretty full, so it's a little bit tricky where I go to next. I'm just going to look at where my other ribbons are going, work it out, and I think I'll just have that tiny little line on the other side of that ribbon there. And now my center is full, so I don't have to worry about that center anymore. If you've done a thinner ribbon, you might have more space still going in that ribbon, so just keep going the same way. And now once I get to the edge of that ribbon, I don't need to put anything in the center, but I need to know where I'm going. So just in the air, follow where that ribbon's going to go and finish it up. Keep to the same routine. Start from the loop that you finished and work around. So again, whoops, make sure you're going to the right one, every second one. Finish off that ribbon. And you can see now I've got the 4. And now I'm working on the next 4. So it doesn't matter which one you start off with. And you can see I'm having less space at the top as well. So work your way around. Take your time, know where you're going. Go back to the loop that you ended on. Stop when you get to a ribbon, then draw in the air where you think you need to go until you're certain. Spin your tile and go back to where you ended off. So again, keep doing this. Be sure of the direction you need to go. Turn your tile back to where you just ended and draw one other loop. stop when you get to there. At least you don't have to worry about the center anymore. Just join that up. And there's the completed pattern. If you have more space in the center, you might want to draw more loops. Now I'm just on a piece of scrap paper looking at fillers for the background. And I can see all kinds of things that would work. Have a little scribble, decide what pen and which pattern you want to use. I'm using my white gel pen and I've decided to do quite a large tipple. On another tile I used print-ons, but you know, use whatever you like. And I'm just going around the edge, filling the background. Now that I've done the outer edge, I'm going to fill the centers of those loops where I initially drew those seed shapes with that same pattern that I used on the outside. I'm going to shade this now with a 2B pencil, and I'm just going to follow the line that I did when I was drawing this tangle. So just on one side, if I keep to the same pattern of how I drew it, it keeps me on one side of each of those ribbons. And once I've gone completely around, I can then shade any areas that look like they overlap. Use your tortillon now just to soften that graphite a little bit. I'm going to add some white charcoal pencil, but I've got quite a lot of pencil lines there, so I want to clean that up a little bit. It's up to you whether you do, but it makes it look a little bit neater. I'm going to shade with that white in the center of each of those strips. You'll find with the charcoal pencil that it kind of stops when you get to the graphite anyway. And that's why I'm using this instead of the pastel pencil, because the pastel pencil tends to draw over the graphite. It kind of grips onto it, and that's why I like the white charcoal pencil. The benefit of using these chalky kind of pencils is if you mess it up, you can just erase it and keep working with it, and you know, it's not permanent at the moment. You do get quite a bit of dust off them, so just keep blowing it and just give a little puff to get those granules off, those chalky residue away. Now I'm going to blend it with my tortillon. I'm not going into the graphite at all, I'm just softening the white. I'm not being too fussy about this because I'm going to add other colours with the pastel pencils, and I'll be going back in and blending that. So I'm going to start with a blue. This is a cyan blue, and I'm going to basically go at each end of the ribbon and overlap the shading with the white charcoal pencil. Anywhere I've got that graphite pencil, I'm going to put this blue. I'm not going too far up into the white. I'm going to go around this whole pattern with this blue. Keep blowing away the residue as it collects, and that way it keeps your drawing nice and clean. If you get too much of that blue, it'll mess up the white parts if you have too much residue. Now I can use the tortillon to blend these together. Just make a nice gradual soft blend the blue into the white. Don't worry if you find that it's looking a little bit too blue. I can come back in with my white graphite pencil and add a little bit more. And just keep working this until you have a nice soft blend, whatever appeals to you. I'm quite happy with this colour, but I might show you how to add another colour to it. So I'm using this green, and I'm only putting a little bit overlapping the blue and the white. Just put a tiny bit all the way around. Some people often comment and say, oh, I preferred it when you did this. Everyone's got their own preferences. I tend to experiment and show you what it could look like, and you can make your own decision on how you do it. I'm not blending that in at this stage. I'm going to add this darker blue, and again going over where I initially put the graphite, just to strengthen that blue a little bit more. Now I'm going to blend that all in. You can add more white or any other colour if you like, until you get the desired effect. The beauty of using these pastel pencils is they're fairly forgiving, and if you go too far with one, you can pull it back and add more white, or you can even erase some of it. It comes off quite easily. At the end though, it is a good idea to use some sort of fixative to keep it there because it will rub off. I'll show you that at the end. I'm now using this Uni-Ball eye fine pen, and I use this quite a lot, mainly to go over and highlight those black lines. So I'm going over all the lines. The Micron pens have a tiny tubular tip, and if you're using something that's quite pigmented, it easily blocks up, and that's why I find this rollerball glides over any pigments really quite well. It is quite wet, so be careful where you put your hand because it's very easy to smudge. Now I've put a little bit of black on the tips, and that just weights it down a little bit. Here's another one I did in purple and pink, and I did printemps in the background. You can see the ribbons are a little bit thinner, so I added an extra loop at the top. I've taken my tiles outside and I'm going to use this fixative. I'm just going to put a spray one way and then turn them and spray in the other direction. And here's the finished results. Thank you for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you haven't already subscribed to my YouTube channel, do that so that you don't miss out on future videos. Until next week, stay safe and bye for now. If you'd like to see more of my videos, head over to my YouTube channel, or there are a couple of links here on the screen, and there's the subscribe button.